Hi everyone, Danielle here. I'm doing a solo overview of Moon Bunny. This is a Kickstarter that I backed, and in case you're wondering, this is the collector's edition, so it could be different from the other edition if there is a retail edition. But this is set up for a solo game. We have the two solo decks that we'll be using to place the solo bunny on the moon board. So this is the moon board. It's filled with currently mainly herbs. So these are the herb sides, and then two recipes. So recipes technically usually will have a victory point value on the top left. And these will be recipes that you'll be also placing into your player area along with the herbs. And hopefully at the end of the game, you would have satisfied these requirements and gained those points. Over here, we have the lounge board. We won't be doing anything here during the solo game, but we will be able to spend a mooncake on one of these, or uh, we could purchase them for one mooncake. We can only purchase one per round, though. And there are going to be once per game effects that we can use. We also have a stack of recipes here that we will be going throughout the game. And then, yeah, I do want to show you the reference cards. We have on a player's turn, you'll move a bunny, You'll place a tile into the workshop or storage, refill the empty space. And then optional things you can do is spend a mooncake, use the scroll, place the tile from storage. And then bonus, you could take another turn when the recipe is surrounded by herbs in your workshop. So there's going to be some rules around placing your bunny, moving them around the board, and then also how you'll place your tiles once you land on a tile into your workshop. All right, so I think I'll just dive into a turn here. I'm going to just move the stack to the side. So you start with this particular bunny on the corner of the moon, so I'll put it right here. And this can move exactly 3 spaces. So looking at during setup where I put this recipe into my storage, I will eventually want the most of this, which I'm not exactly sure what this is. This could be a sure. What is this? This is some sort of root. And you know what? Maybe there is a glossary. There we go. Ginseng. There we go. It is ginseng. And maybe I should have pulled this up because this shows you all of the icons. So that would be helpful to me. So I'm gonna want the most ginseng. So I will move my bunny. And what's cool is you see these arrows that indicate kind of where we'll end up if you go off the board. So if you think about it, the moon is round, so you're kind of just going right around. I'm gonna go and move 3 spaces this way. So going here, wrapping around, 1, 2, 3. So now I will take this tile into my workshop, and then because I have the mooncake on it, I will place a mooncake on my specific tile here. All right. So after that, we refill the empty space. So I'll refill the empty space from the bag. And it is this. And if it has a recipe icon, I will place a recipe there, but instead I'll be placing an herb from the bag. And that is my turn. So now it is the AI opponent's turn. We'll flip over 1 card from each of these decks, E1. So we're going to look at the markings here. The numbers are on the left, and then the columns are noted with the letters. So E1 will be where they will go, and they'll take that into their pile. All right. So they'll grab that tile, and then they're going to have to replace that with a new one from the bag. All right. So we have lotus seeds there. So that's where they are. So now we're going to go back and take our turn. I have a mooncake. I'm actually going to spend a mooncake. So I could spend a mooncake to swap my bunnies. So now what's cool about this bunny is this can move in any direction orthogonally. So as long as nothing is in the way. So we can move it. Let's see. I think I'll move it all the way up here, and I'll get this ginseng. So when I place this in my workshop, I have to place it adjacent to an existing tile. So I'll place it here. And now I'll go ahead and replace it. All right. And throughout the game, this is exactly what you'll be doing. You'll be moving your bunny based off of the certain bunny that you're using. gaining mooncake, spending mooncake to potentially swap your bunny so you can move in a different way, or buy a recipe. Buy a scroll. So, for instance, this says refresh one recipe on the moon. So that means you'll just simply replace a recipe that's on the moon. And again, the recipes have point values, and you'll replace it with one from the stack. All right. So if I use that, that is going to be used once per game. So you'll flip that over and mark it as used. And again, you can only purchase one scroll per round. And then the AI will continue to take their turn, E2. So they're going to go ahead and go into E2. So that's going to be this one. They're going to take that into their stack. We're going to replace that. All right. So another lotus for them. Another lotus placed in there. And I do want to mention there are other tiles out here. If you happen to draw this, this is a crater. So craters are not spaces you can land on, but you could go past or through. So say instead of this lotus, this was here, that's what would happen, just like that. And then in the solo game, there is only one of these specific tiles, but there is a tile that is called a recipe tile. And this is a big bag to go through for that, but found it. If you happen to pull this, that means that space is now a recipe tile. So say I move here on my next turn, I go ahead and grab this tile. I'll place it, place this down. Now this is a recipe, and I take one from the recipe stack and place it right on top. So next turn, say I want to move, and for just example's sake, say I land on a recipe. I've just been landing on the herbs, which is great. I could place in my workshop, but I could also place a recipe. So I could place a recipe for my storage anytime here. And what's cool is if I were to surround my recipe here with herbs, they have to be herbs, then I get a bonus turn. And that's what this bonus turn is mentioning here. So it says take another turn when the recipe is surrounded by herbs in your workshop. Well, that's pretty neat. So the idea around placing is very important. And typically you cannot move any of your herbs around and any of your recipes around in your workshop. Also, if you wanted to, you always have the option to place a tile into your storage. So say you don't know where you want it to go, you can just simply place it from your place it into your storage for later. So that's the gist of playing Moon Bunny. I'm thinking this is going to be a very thinky game. A lot of, the AI possibly getting in your way because there are going to be, restrictions in terms of movement when they get in your way. So I do want to point that out. So when you move your bunny, it says that bunnies can't move into or through spaces with another bunny. So they're definitely going to kind of get in my way in this solo game. And so at the end of the game, they also do score their stack based off of the recipes they have in their stack. So something to keep in mind is that they actually do get points at the end of the game. But in the solo game, there are scoring ranges here. And so you might want to try to get between 0 to 39 during your first few games, but 85 and up, you're a Master Bunny Alchemist. All right. And then some symbols. So I do want to mention that we have some special cards in here that will be doing some interesting things in the game, such as this. And they are explained here. So there's a play again. So that means the AI will get to play again. So they'll get a bonus turn. And then as far as shuffle, that means all the cards get shuffled again. The discard pile and revealed cards are all shuffled into a new deck. And then you reveal a new card from the shuffled deck. So it kind of gets things kind of shuffled back in. All right. And then there's some solo variants I do want to mention. That's mentioned in the rule book. So we have play the game without scrolls. So scrolls typically can help you. So that will help definitely make it harder. Play the game with only that hopping bunny. So that means you can't use the other bunny to kind of move as far up or down or right or left as you want. And then you can challenge yourself by combining 1 and 2. So I like that they kind of thought through ways to make it a little bit more challenging. This is to me a pretty light game. I think it'd be perfect for, kids to just pick up and play as well. The solo mode is very easy to manage, very simple. I think this is gonna be one of those games that I'll play when I just want a really nice, relaxing board game to play. I don't find this to be a very stressful game. Kind of gives me like Calico vibes. You're kind of just trying to collect tiles so that you can fulfill your recipes and get the most points. And also, the artwork is amazing. I feel like this board isn't the most necessary, but I'm keeping it here because I do like this art. I love the style of everything here, especially the player boards. I decided to choose this one, but all the other player boards, which you can see in my unboxing, is just so lovely. But yeah, that was my solo overview of Moon Bunny. Let me know what your thoughts are. I do plan on having a full solo playthrough on my channel. So if you're interested in that, definitely let me know in your comments below. That will move it up in my content creation schedule. But in the meantime, I hope you're all doing well. And please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And also consider being a channel member. You get access to videos ahead of time. And also you get to see my more personal posts as well, where I kind of share tidbits about my personal life, kind of what's been going on. And you get some photos as well. All right. As always, hope you're all doing well, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.